Welcome, welcome. We are live again. It is Thursday. It is just after 1 p.m. It is 30 with Karen and Justin. Once again, no Karen this week. It's getting close to Christmas. She may have some ties to Santa Claus. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but it's just me this week. But we've got a great guest. I'm really excited about our final Q&A of 2025, which is pretty darn exciting. We're diving into a topic so many of us think about, but don't always talk about. Not that I do, because I don't need to, but we will today. Modern dating, which is kind of cool. Joining me is Natasha Bomba from DoBetter.love. She's going to break down dating apps, burnout boundaries, and most importantly, how to actually build real connection in a world that often makes it feel impossible. Welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I find it interesting because, quite frankly, social media and all these apps are designed to connect people. Like, that's the whole
Mhm.
function of them. And yet, as a society, I feel like we're further apart than we've ever been in a
Certainly.
lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what was the thing that you saw in the marketplace that sort of made you think I should put my hat in the ring to build this?
Oh, well, I think the thing in the marketplace is just all the pain and
Mm,
anxiety and the complaining and my own personal experiences with all the apps and sort of wondering, wow, why is it not working? What's going on? Why do we have sites that are like on Facebook that are called, are we dating the same guy? Like what's happened in the last like 5, 7 years?
geez.
A lot of it since
More
COVID.
and more Tinder swindler documentaries coming out on a
Oh,
daily
all of
basis.
those things. Like it's frightening. You're really lucky that you don't have to do dating apps and you've got all that sorted out now. But those of us who are still out here, it's a bit of a rough world. So I've been working as an startup and entrepreneur for a little while, and then this came into my head, and I just kind of started saying, "Well, why not? Let's start digging into it,"
So
and
so let's
started
start
rolling.
there with the
Yeah.
journey because I think, you know, if I've learned anything from being in real estate and having my own business that way and seeing other people that I know that are entrepreneurs, it's not like, I don't want to call like 9 to 5 the easy route. That's for sure. I mean, people work hard out there. So I'm not just diminishing
Absolutely.
their effort and their time. But entrepreneurialism is very difficult and has sort of there's a lot of unknowns. You never know when the next check is coming. Like you're putting yourself in a world of pain before you even open the door. What what in your mind was like, yeah, I'm willing to do this? Is it just literally you were I've had so many problems and I feel so bad for this system that I need to fix it? Is that where we're at now?
I think so, a little bit. It's like, nobody's going to do it for me, so I might
Mm,
as well get out there and do it myself. I don't like any of the other options that are out there. Um, I have also just been doing this for a really long time. It's made my parents crazy, my family crazy. I've, been living as a consultant and a entrepreneur for quite a while. I picked up and I went to Africa and did work over there and also, worked in Russia and Czech Republic. So like, yeah, my family and friends are out when I call and I am like, I've got news. They're like, oh, what now? Yeah. So this is actually pretty a little bit tamer than some of the others, but I find that I don't always know the big picture. I certainly did not know the big picture when I started, and you just kind of I take a step forward, and then suddenly I'm at a point where there's no turning back anyway, so you
mm,
just keep driving, right?
mm-hmm.
And then I've gotten little encouragements along the way. I mean, it's certainly hard, a lot of hours put in, although I've been able to do a lot of the development for the app and everything myself. But the little encouragements of the right people and doing the right things at the right time are the little things that keep me going and a really good support structure as
That's
well.
amazing. And I think that's key with any startup like that is you need the right support. You need to find the right people to put in the right places
Right.
for support, but also for executing certain things because you don't know everything. I mean, let's be honest, we don't know everything as individuals and human beings.
Absolutely.
Seems
Yeah.
like you're heading down the right path. That's great. So, what was it the specific problem in the dating world where you were most frustrated by that was kind of like the thing?
Uh, there's no one specific problem.
It's
It's the
just all
whole
broken.
dating world, I would say. You know, like it's now the dating culture that's really come up and occurred. A lot of bad behaviors are just somehow acceptable. Um,
Mm,
I started researching into how the existing apps work, the big ones anyway, right? There's a lot of different ones, a lot of other people trying to do their thing as well. But the big ones, how what their motivation is really not to make sure that you are successful. Their motivation is to make money and keep you on the app and keep
right.
the addictions going and keep you distracted to the next person. And I think it's really sad because like love is one of those really basic
Mm,
human needs that we all want. And somehow curiosity and the enjoyment and the positive things of being on a first date and getting excited and doing all those things has really been lost, right? There's a lot of, oh, let me just go on this date. Do I really have to go? Is often the feeling that a lot of people
right.
identify with now. And that's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
I have no idea. I was analog,
Hmm.
that was me. I met my wife in a bar.
Right.
And I'm proud to say it. It was fun. It was interesting.
Yeah.
So many,
And maybe just to add to that, it's
yeah,
like people still want that actually, right?
yeah, of
That's
course.
what the conversations come out. We want this like, I just want to meet somebody in a bar again. I just want to, meet in a very organic way. Um, but it's just not reality. It's just not the way people are doing it. So that is something I have tried to address through the app is trying to
Interesting.
bring the best of the old way together with some new technology and
That's
making
so
it
cool.
fun again. Yeah.
So people genuinely and generally are saying that the large dating apps have kind of ruined modern dating as a whole. And I've heard horror stories from some of my single friends that have said
Yeah.
like this is horrendous. If it's
Yeah.
not a catfish, it's someone just looking for one thing versus
Right.
what I'm actually looking for. And
Right.
there seems to be no filter, I guess, from what I understand from people where you get stuff sent to you that's just not appropriate in certain cases and things like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's
Um,
all very surface level at the end of the day. So you get what you put in, right? Like if you're only putting in that surface level stuff, then it's hard to get into the really meaningful stuff.
yes, you'd
Like it's
mentioned that
all kind of
before. Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what does that look like and why doesn't that work? Just because it's completely superficial, I guess.
Well, I think so. I mean, if you reflect back on, your own relationship with your wife and how you got started, um, I mean, sure, you might have had some things in common, but it's what really makes a relationship work. What goes beyond, oh, we both like dogs, or,
Mm.
we both like country music, whatever bar you
Sure,
end up
sure. Yeah.
meeting her
Yeah.
at,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, that's okay for about 5 minutes, but it's the deeper things that have allowed you to stay in that relationship for much, much longer.
Whereas the apps tend to keep it much more superficial and surface level. I get it. I see
Yeah.
where you're going with that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Cool.
I would say as well, the way the apps are set up, there's the other part of it is all the chatting that's really a problem. So
Mm,
you do match, fine, you might have some stuff in common and so forth. And then you get into this cycle of I've been on the apps for 2 weeks, like texting with someone. And first of all, we know on a good day, texting can be a little bit subjective, right? We can read it funny, we can take it the wrong way, etc. And again, in some of my conversations with people, it's like you text people long enough, you find something wrong with them, or it just becomes really boring, and you stop engaging. And
mm.
again, bringing back that curiosity and finding out, like what are they like in real life? What is this person like in a real situation?
Could part of the issue be the overstimulation of too many people being involved in a way? Because I
Absolutely.
would I would gather like again when I met my wife, I wasn't dating anybody.
Right.
Like I was kind of out there doing my thing, and I went out for a night out with a friend, and I ran into her. But it's not like I had 40 other conversations going on with other women, like trying to find other people or
Right.
whatever. I don't even know that I had one other conversation happening at the time. I think my wife was going on other dates because she was single and enjoying
Yeah.
her life. And I think she'd signed up for some dating thing that wasn't a website at the time because that's not what we had.
Right.
And they set her up on a few dates and she went on some dates. But other than that, like, I can imagine how you could be like swipe, 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 swipe. And now there's 40 people you're talking to trying to keep up all these conversations, and that just becomes overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, I think, you made an investment in that moment, right? You made an investment of your time, your courage to go up and talk to her. You're getting to know her, all of that, where that is completely stepped away
Gone.
when we start to objectify
Yeah.
people and basically picking people off a shelf. I like this one. I don't like this one. I tried it out for a few days with like shampoo or something, right? Didn't make it made my hair too frizzy, and I'm going to try a new one next week. It's definitely just so meaningless. It doesn't have the value that it used to have for sure.
Mm.
Mhm.
How does Do Better approach matchmaking differently than other traditional apps then?
Yeah, so um, I come from a learning and development background, first of all. So I really believe in personal growth for people. I've worked with all kinds of companies and like seeing how much they invest in personal growth and so forth. So I set that up the beginning of it with values. So what are your values that are really meaningful to you? Now you can say everybody wants honesty and trust and those good things, but getting a little deeper into things like kindness or
Mm.
financial maturity, and that can mean different things to different people, right? Even patience. So those things, I help people dig down in a really simple way, but still a very effective way to say, what do you want? And then what does that really mean to you? What does honesty really mean to you, right?
Mm.
Um, and then we match on all the other stuff too. Uh, but at a lower level, like they're not as important. I think the one of the other elements that is really important is we look to do it locally because it's also been, proven through research that if you are local with someone versus, I'm in Hamilton right now, if I was in meeting someone in Toronto, that's a lot of work, that's
Mm.
a lot of scheduling, that's a lot of driving. Like I'm just not into it anymore, right? And so having someone local also can increase the opportunity for accountability
Hmm.
because that's also lost on current apps. So if you go out and you meet friends, you're creating a sense of accountability and
Mm.
that environment a little bit more of safety as well. So values, local, and just getting people out there that much faster. So there's no chatting, endless chatting. You get a chance to put your best foot forward in asking each other out. I built in all the local restaurants, cafes, and everything, make it easy for you, and get you out there meeting face to face that much
That
faster.
is really cool. So right from the app, you're now taking it from the initial contact to some form of date basically
Yeah,
right away.
yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah,
cool. That's
yeah.
really cool. So there's no middle ground bullshit of, talking, talking, talking endlessly.
No, no,
Uh,
no more.
yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. Do you have any success stories yet?
Well, it's a little challenging to be honest
I
because
know you're early on.
yeah, with a dating app, you got to have a pool of people, right? You can't
Yeah.
have two people
Yeah.
on, signed up. So I do have a good amount of people signed up, but just not enough yet.
Got it.
But if I can speak to my own personal aspect here, like I've been on, a lot of dating apps and been single for a long time. So that's, obviously part of it. But I've applied all the same principles to the person I'm seeing now, and it's really working out. We are local. I said to him after 2 days of just chatting, I'm like, hey, let's just go out and meet and see if there's a connection. We have a lot of the same values that are really important to us, kindness and giving back to community and
Hmm.
all of those things. We were out, giving out some stuff for the homeless last night and things
Nice.
like that. So all these things really important to us, and it seems to be working well. So I hope to be the first success story either
That's
way.
amazing. I love that. So far, so good. That's
So
really
far, so
cool. And
good.
so you should
Yeah,
be, given it's your thing. So here
right,
we go.
right,
For someone who's, because this is again, I've heard horror stories. Okay, so I've heard
right.
terrible things. The catfishing seems to be the worst one right now, where people put up pictures that don't really look quite like them, and the filters. Anyway, for someone who's been burned or hurt by these apps in the past, what's sort of the first steps to doing better in dating?
Well, if I'm really honest about it, sometimes people have to take a break. Like I took a
Mm.
2 year break because it was too much for me. There's so much rejection. We try to be strong about it. We try to just, create this little bit of a hardened uh, exterior because you're getting ghosted, or God forbid you get catfished or something like that in a real way. That happens in awful ways, as we know.
Mm.
Um, but you've felt sort of this whole disposable thing. And so people sometimes need to take a break, reflect, step back, and start to think about what is important to you. What do you really feel is important to you in your general relationships? Those are going to be the same and similar to what would be the values in a dating relationship as well, although they will change a little bit, right?
That kind of slides into my next question, which is what role does mindset and personal growth play in finding some sort of lasting, healthy relationship? Which I think is kind of what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah,
Working on yourself and working on working together to become better
right.
is a big deal. It sounds like.
Yeah, well, identifying our ouchies, as I would say, you know, our triggers and the things that we want to improve on. But I'm sure with you, the relationship again that you have with your wife, you've worked at it, you've built on it. People, still take time for date nights and
Yes.
that quality time between each other. But we have all of our blind spots on things, right? And although we might want something, how do you learn what your blind spot is? So I've also built in some feedback into the app, right? So after you go on 3 or 4 dates, what is the trend? Like you might really like, well, God forbid you're not good at communication, you're doing this podcast, but you might really value communication, but maybe that that means you're talking and talking, talking, but actually not listening or asking questions.
Mm.
People do that all the time, right? So I've built in this thing because of my learning background. So you can get some feedback, say, hey, yeah, he was great at all this, but needs some work on his communication. And then the app will feed you some
Oh,
resources and some help to
that's cool.
improve on that. And even in the next iterations, I have a couple of professional coaches who are helping me and
So
bringing
wait, wait,
all
wait.
that
So hang on.
together.
So this
Yeah.
this is blowing my mind now. Okay, so you've
Okay.
totally just blown my mind. So again, we talked about superficial, we talked about just scratching the surface of the relationships through texting and stuff. So this app is almost like it's a little bit of an Uber thing where you get to rate your date. Is that what
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
saying
Okay. In
essentially?
a very kind and
In a
gentle
very yes, in a
way.
in a
Yes.
in a meaningful,
In a
constructive
meeting
way, you
way.
get to
Yes,
rate your
exactly.
date
Yeah.
and give feedback in a way that is actually meaningful, not like you're an asshole kind of thing, but like
No,
whatever.
no.
You can actually provide stuff. That is
Yeah.
amazing to me
Yeah.
because who doesn't want to get better every time you try something if you're
Yeah.
going to genuinely want to be that person.
Exactly.
That's
And
so
therefore,
cool.
do better is sort of, that was part of the whole thing of coming together,
That's
both
so
for
cool.
ourselves and for others, right? Yeah. And just to note on that, like AI has been amazing. So
Yes,
it helps us to, like, again, like you said, we don't want anybody saying, oh, he's an asshole, right? Like we will summarize, we will reword and put that in a way that's helpful and constructive for people and not tearing anybody down.
that was your mic drop moment right there, I think, because I don't know, and again, I don't know these apps, so but I feel like again, from what I hear from people, it's like aside from Bumble, which seems to be a little different, where the woman has to connect first or whatever, you
Yeah.
know, it seems like there's nothing that has that feedback loop that allows you to understand how to get better at this.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So
I
that's
love
the
it.
thing. I've done so many now. So it's
Yeah,
like I'm grabbing all this from different people. I'm like, what are the gaps that I can really fill with this app that will make it different? Because there are
that's
a
really
lot of
cool.
things out
Okay,
there.
so now that on that note, then, so we've had this culture around ghosting nowadays, and I'm sure it's worse online,
Absolutely.
right? Is it like just because of the apps that it makes it so easy to do it, or is it something deeper in how we connect on a human level?
I think it's a combination of both. Like I can't say that, you can completely blame the apps, but it's
Mm,
us sitting behind computers. I mean, it's the same with keyboard warriors on
mm.
some Facebook topic or whatever. It's just a sense of security that I can do whatever I want. So that's where some of the accountability comes in and also some of the feedback. So that is going to be part of it. If we have people on there that are continuously ghosting, that's going to show up, that's going to flag your account. We're trying to improve things, we're trying to make things better, right? It doesn't take more than a minute to say, hey, I enjoyed our time out, but I don't think it's going to work. Right?
Mm.
Let's start changing the culture of dating a little bit and improving it. Even with catfishing, that's going to naturally be caught by the app through this feedback process.
Right.
Like if your pictures, and sometimes people don't do it on purpose, like they have pictures from 20 years ago, 10 years ago, etc. And it's like you actually don't look like that anymore, my friend, right? Like let's keep this genuine and let's keep it real. And if you're going to be out with somebody within a week or a few days, because you're not doing all this chatting, that's naturally going to filter out catfishing, bad behaviors, ghosting, all that sort of thing. So the feedback will really help with that as well.
No, the feedback thing has blown my mind off the top anyways. Holy cow. So how do you help people balance vulnerability with safety when meeting someone new in a world dominated by online dating? Because I guess part of it is you don't, I mean, I guess you think you know who you're dating or you're going out with, but
Yeah,
potentially there's that sort of trepidation of who is this person?
right.
Am I gonna get serially murdered? I don't know.
Well,
Like,
yeah, that's totally fair. Comedian was up and I'm listening to her. She's asking the men versus the women, what's the worst thing that can happen to you on a date? And the
yeah,
men are answering like, "Oh, I spill food on myself," or "Oh, she doesn't look like her pictures," right? And the women always answered being murdered. Like we always pretty much think that way, even the strongest of us, I think is kind of fair. So,
interesting. No, that's fair. It's a fair play though, right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
I think we live in a world where the news media totally glorifies all that. Back in the day, it was harder to get information around, but now the second something bad goes on like that, we know about
yeah,
it within 10 minutes.
absolutely.
So we're going to hear about it more and more, which doesn't mean that it's more or less prevalent. It may have been prevalent back in the day, but certainly by putting yourself out there with no filter
Hmm.
and not knowing if the other person on the other side has a filter of some kind.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So, I guess there's a few things. There's what we are recommending. What I'm looking to do is we kind of build out the locations and suggested things, as I said, that's built in right into the app. So it's kind of a little bit of a tracking mechanism. We know where you said you both were going to go, right? Which I think is
Right.
helpful. Also suggesting things like cafes versus dark bars and stuff like that.
Right.
There's also going to be all kinds of safety tips and everything booked in there as well. And I think just the due diligence of, trying to flag people who are acting inappropriately. If there's an inappropriate behavior, we're going to take care of that as far as flagging the account and dealing with it. Like
Mm.
it's not something I want to promote. So we're doing our best to try to uh, create that and educate people. That's a thing, right? There's a whole group of people that maybe they're starting dating apps for the first time, maybe newly divorced or, and it's great to see 70-year-old one of my coaches, she just specifically works with women over 50 who are
Mm.
coming back into the dating world, right? But probably never used an app. So it's really important to educate people on what is safe and what to expect when using apps.
And you're coming into a whole new generation of quote unquote 70-year-olds that will start to become more comfortable with this sort of thing
Yes.
because technology is like, I was just listening to somebody talking about Xennials or something. Well, like I'm kind of a Zen because I was born in 1980, but my
Okay.
entire childhood was analog, but I've been brought up
Right.
as more of a teenager slash adult into the digital world. So
Right.
it's kind of this double world. Whereas everybody born today and in the last, let's say 15, 20 years has had an iPhone in the friggin' hand. So,
Right. Yes. Yeah.
it's just a different mindset. So are there any common misconceptions that people might have about what makes someone dateable? Right? Because how many people are sitting in their room going, "No one loves me. No one's ever gonna."
Mhm.
What are some of the misconceptions about being dateable or attractive that you want to bust?
I just think people have to try to deal with a little bit of our own baggage. I'll say that for myself as well, right? Or the checklist. Like, let's get away from the whole, this is part of the profile. I'm this, I'm wanting this, I don't want this, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we have to have kind of find in ourselves that ability to still be curious and to still be open towards others. Again, the person I'm seeing now, I can't remember what was even on his profile. I know he had really bad pictures. We've talked about it, right? I don't know what made me click on it, but it was just like, okay, and it worked, right? And we in person, versus online and those little pictures, it's just not enough. You have to be able to find the courage and intention to go out and just see if there is anything in that, and get away from these like lists of must have versus not. I've actually used AI to help people craft better profiles, but I'm also offering free profiles to review by a real person, by me, said entrepreneur taking on just one more thing. To actually go through, like, I've got a list of best practices for pictures, like, don't take bathroom pictures. Is it
Yeah.
blurry? And
Yeah.
also in their profiles as well to keep it positive and happy
It
and
sounds like as much as this is an app, there's a little bit of coaching behind this too.
yeah.
And it really sounds like where the future of this could be in general, because I feel like, you know, like in a lot of cases with a lot of things, like being a realtor,
Hmm.
you're given the keys to the car when, and then you're not taught anything. Just go do it.
Right.
And so who's going to help us? Who's going to teach us? It's like being a
Right.
parent. There's
Right.
no handbook for it. There's no
Right.
right or wrong really way. Don't beat your kids. I
Yeah.
get that, but
Yeah.
there's a wide variety of ways that make kids grow up healthy and
Better.
strong.
Yeah,
And I imagine
exactly.
this the same in dating. Like there's not one thing that's the main thing. There's
Yeah.
lots of different ways to go about doing the things,
Right.
right? But you kind of help people build the basics. Is that
Right.
what I'm hearing?
I think so, yeah. And one of the things you mentioned on the blurb about is the bird, Sweet Pea, who's behind me here. But as I've developed this and crafted, I really felt the sense of like DoBetter.love wants to be the wingman, right? We want to
Mhm.
be that support. I was, out at Supercrawl in the summer promoting here in Hamilton, and talking to people, and I just saw like even their friends are not helping the singles in the group anymore. Like, I don't know what's happened culturally.
That's so
I
funny.
well, I do know, some of the things that have prevented us now from just stepping up and walking up and saying hi to someone, right? Like, there's a lot of things that have happened in the past that have made that more and more uncomfortable.
Mm.
So that's where, again, taking the best of the old with the new, we're going to try to help people be their wingman, get them through the first few steps that are hard, and progress through in personal growth and working through their relationship stuff too.
So this is where you give away a secret. Okay, you're going to give some advice here.
Okay.
The question would be, what's one habit or mindset shift that can instantly improve someone's dating life, but no one talks about it?
Oh, I think it's curiosity. I would go back to being curious, get away from like all the lists and all the things that you think and perceive that are important to you, and just go out and find out something new about somebody. Be interested in them instead of interested in your own agenda. Yeah.
I liken that to action is better than perfection.
Mm. Hmm.
Sometimes just doing something,
Hmm.
getting curious, doing something, getting out there
Hmm.
is better than trying to worry about it being perfect.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think life is imperfect,
Right.
right? We are imperfect beings. And nothing's going to be the right. Like when we take people to see houses, they have a list, and here's all the
Hmm.
things they want.
Hmm.
And then they
Right.
go into a house and they're like, I love this house. It's my home. I love all these
Yeah.
things. And you're like, but half these things are missing.
Yeah. But there's
Doesn't
something
matter. I
about
love
it.
this house.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think the perfect mate also probably exists in a certain way, if you understand what I mean.
100%.
And so I feel like the same thing. Get out there.
Yeah. Get out there. Try
Take
it.
your time off if you need it, but get out there. Okay, so this is an interesting one because I've been doing a little research to kind of figure out what you do and what things are what other options are out there, because I'm so naive because I
Sure.
only get like third party living vicariously through other people's stories of these types of apps. So at this point, what are we, one almost 20 years married and 22 years together. So anyway,
Amazing. Congratulations, by the way.
yeah,
That's something to
it's
be
been a
proud
trip.
of. Yeah.
That's a whole other podcast though. But there's these AI chatbots now, and like robot girlfriends and boyfriends, and it's becoming more common. Like I get ads for them in between some of the stupid games I play on my computer to
Oh,
pass the
wow.
time. It must not know that I'm married or something, but you get these ads for someone that you can speak to and they're always there for you, and
Yeah.
they'll say whatever you want, and all
Yeah.
those things. How do you see this type of technology reshaping sort of what we call intimacy in the next several years?
Oh, in the best way or the worst
Well,
way?
I'm sure there's a combination of both here, I would imagine.
My glass half full kind of
Yes, let's try to
person.
be positive, but I mean, we can
Um,
talk about the negatives to
well,
avoid them.
I'm a Gen X, so we're all about, Terminator and
Yeah, I
1984
love it.
theories, right? But if I was hopeful, and I usually try to be, I think that those things can help us learn about ourselves, maybe overcome some of the challenges we're having, perhaps dealing with the real humans in the room, right?
Right, right, right.
Um, I'm thinking back to that movie, Lars's Girlfriend or something with,
Mm,
yeah, very cute, where he has that blow up doll, I think, as a girlfriend for a
hmm
while he
hmm
deals with his own problems. But yeah, or his own challenges, I should say. So I think there's that aspect of it, but I think it would make me very sad if people give up, and that's personal. That's my old school thinking, perhaps, of just on each other. Like there's so much value in those relationships, in what we were created to be, like coming back to it, real love and really understanding love. An AI girlfriend, robot, whatever, can only do the surface stuff, I would think. Like it can
mm,
go deeper, it can start to understand us and respond in a certain way. But there's also the part of like when you are not perfect, and that grace that someone can provide you just in your worst moments, and all those things
mm,
that come through the relationships and come through the joy of life. I don't know if you have children, but
mhm.
like all of that, all of those little intricacies, I think there's still beauty in the human being and beauty in those.
Just thinking about it from a philosophical level in my world, in my head, and like, what would I do? What would happen if, those kind of things. I'll tell you where I'm at right now is, and it's not even a sexual thing, but physical touch is an incredibly important part of my relationship. Like
Right,
I crave connection in a physical way, and it's not necessarily sexual, but it's like, it's just
yeah,
even a hug
right.
or a peck on the cheek or whatever. I just can't imagine. I understand the short-term burst of elation and joy that you might get from something that is telling you all the things you want to hear because you want to hear them,
Hmm.
but you're missing a whole chunk of what
Hmm.
connection and what relationships and what being a human being is.
Right, right.
I feel like, I
That
don't know, that's just me.
spiritual kind of soul connection. That,
Yeah, yeah, you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like it's
yeah.
deeper than that. And I feel like, I think even the conversation around, like, there's people that cheat, right? On these apps, I'm sure.
Hmm.
And the conversation around the idea of a one night stand or a short term connection like that versus having the deep relationship that a couple can get to in their
Right.
world eventually when they get to know each other that way. I feel a lot of satisfaction from that, and I just don't feel like AI can get me there, if you know what
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think, there's a lot of different ways that people love and have their relationships. And, certainly I'm not trying to target a certain, monogamous kind
Mm.
of section. I think there's a lot of different
Oh,
options for
you're
people.
absolutely right too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it is also, it's still people,
Yeah.
it's still that magic, it's still that connection, it's still that looking into somebody's eyes and really feeling it. I don't know
Yes.
how deep I could go
I was
into
just thinking
a
about like
robot's
that
eyes.
that tingle that you get if you touch someone's hand for the first time or something, like all of those things. It's
Yeah,
so cool,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it
Man,
is.
just gave
It
me
is.
chills thinking about it. Anyway, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No, Natasha, you are incredible, and this app sounds absolutely wonderful. What we're doing here is we need to get you going. We need to get
Yes.
this thing out there.
Yes.
Talk to me about what the next steps are for your app. What are we doing now?
So it's the first launch is from Oakville to Hamilton to the Niagara region. So like I said, keeping it local,
Mhm.
keeping our good folks at heart here. Um, And people just need to sign up. I need about 500 people to really launch it. And we're getting there. But, I understand it's that time of year where relationships can get complicated around Christmas and holidays. But, people can sign up, go through the experience of setting up their values. And then, once there's a good group all in there, then we can start matching people. So
Got it.
visit
Got it.
DoBetter.love
So
to
if you're looking for
discuss.
an alternative option is basically what
Yeah,
we're saying. Like we've got
yeah,
this is the idea, and who wouldn't want to have some sort of magical Christmas miracle and meet their soulmate? Huh?
yeah, yeah. That'd be pretty soon,
I know. Let's get it done.
but
500
you
people
never
in the next
know.
few days and we can get this done, all right?
Exactly. I love
That
it.
is so cool. All right, so we've got all the links down below. DoBetter.love is the website.
Yes.
Is the app available on the store yet or no? On the app stores yet?
No, we're
It's
gonna do that after this first launch, make sure, all
got
the
it.
bugs are out. But um also anybody who's signing up now is gonna get, a month free and also can have that free profile review. So some
Beautiful.
bonuses to doing that signing up early.
Well, to all my single friends, get on this because this sounds awesome. And if I had it when I was back, well, you know what? I didn't really need it, but at the end of the day, we need things like this now.
Hmm.
So this
We
is
do.
great. I love this.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, Natasha. You've been
My
very
pleasure.
sweet, very kind, for with your time, and we'll see you next time, and we'll maybe have an update on what's going on. I
Love
think that's
it.
what we should do.
Amazing.
And all your success stories. I want to hear all the success stories of all the love that you've created.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We need more love in this world. Let's
We
be honest.
do. We do. We do. We have to be.
Thanks everyone for watching. We've had a great time and we'll see you in 2026. See ya.